Harvey left wing, 3 seconds left for a shot, misses the net. Hey, Canucks Nation, are you ready for this? History has been made! For the first time in franchise history, the Abbotsford Canucks are Calder Cup Champions! Let's get out of here with the Calder Cup! They pour off the bench. The celebration is on. They've done it, Abbotsford. They've done it. The Canucks beat the Checkers in 6 games. What a team. What a season. Jubilation on the ice. Unbelievable.
There's no better feeling than winning a championship with guys that you've been battling with all year long. It starts in September. Scratch that. It starts before that.
Harvey left wing, 3 seconds left.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was the call last night from Brandon Assels with the Abbotsford Canucks winning for the first time in franchise history. And I mean, the franchise history for the Abbotsford Canucks isn't long, but it's the first time in Canucks history that a cup has been won in the lower mainland with the name Canucks. Congratulations to them. What a game it was.
It was amazing.
It was. Let's do our intro because I didn't do that. My name is Jake Hughes alongside the old man. Old man, how the hell are you doing today?
How can you not be fucking good after watching that? I got to turn you down. I had that cranked up to 100. I'm sure my neighbors love me. I've watched that clip probably 30 times now, and I still get goosebumps.
Nothing better.
Think about this now, though. Think about this for a second. You get all these kids, they taste it. They know what victory is, and they come up to the big club. You got Šilovs, you got Lekkerimäki, you've got Baines. I could go on and on and on and on and on. Like, come on.
Fantastic game, but also just encapsulates how the entire Abbotsford Canucks, like their series, their Calder Cup playoffs have been.
Yeah.
Because they went down 2-0 early in that game. They scored 1 late in the first, and then scored 2 in the second, and then just played defense in the third. Because that's all you needed to do.
Yeah.
To lift that cup. And that call from Brandon Assels, I mean, I know we were watching the same feed last night, and we had the Checkers commentary, which very unbiased, but you could tell was very defeated in the facts.
They were not. You could tell they weren't happy. Now, did you hear reports that the crowd was booing when they were celebrating?
So I heard very mixed reports on that, because listening live after I turned off the Checkers feed and tuned into Sportsnet 650 to listen to the ceremony and everything.
Yeah.
And they were saying that there was a Šilovs chant that broke out, or an Artie chant that broke out when as Artūrs Šilovs won the MVP.
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
But then I also saw when Wouters, however you say his name, went to grab the cup for the first time, and in the back, Phil DiGiuseppe. Did you see this picture where he's double flipping the birds to the fans because they were chirping him? And that's just
I loved it.
Fantastic.
I thought it was great. It's like, we need more of that shit.
Oh, just so well deserved. And this team, this called the AHL team, has gone through so much up and down with the players moving up and down so much this season.
Yeah.
I mean, Phil DiGiuseppe played most of the season in the NHL.
Yeah.
Was able to come down and fit seamlessly into this team and help them win. So was that off the air or was that on the air? I don't remember. We've only been on the air for 5 minutes. When you said the great thing is it tells these kids how to win and they're coming up.
It was on the air. And think about it. Like, now you have these kids coming up who will be playing in the big league, and they got the taste. They know what it's like. That's going to hopefully change the chemistry of this fucking team. put that drive into this team, whatever that it is.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
And I hope it's contagious. I hope these guys come up, especially for the start of training camp.
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, we just won the Calder Cup. And you know what we're doing this year? We're winning the Stanley Cup.
Yes, right? How cool would that be for Lekkermäki, Baines, Šilovs to win the Calder? The next year they win the Cup. I know people shut the fuck up. I know it's a stretch. We're just talking here. We're allowed. That's what we do. It's a talk show.
It is a talk show. So in the realm of just talking,
Talking.
Artūrs Šilovs, phenomenal through this Calder.
Oh, some of the saves this kid made.
Also has a one-way contract next year.
Yes.
Which means we have 3 NHL goalies.
What do?
I didn't put this in the rundown because it just kind of naturally came up here.
Yes.
Is Demko your biggest trade chip right now?
You got to put him out on the you got to put him out on the trade market to see what's there, because without it, oh, Mr. Peterson, we love you. Without doing that, we don't know what we could get. Well, obviously, you're not going to trade him for like a sack of potatoes. No. I know the Canucks. It could happen.
Or do you take the route of this guy just killed it in the Calder Cup? His value will maybe never be higher. You're not going to get Thatcher Demko return for him, but you might be able to get a nice put him and the 15th overall, and now you're looking at that.
Right? We kept
2C.
We kept saying the Canucks haven't done anything. They haven't made the big move. We're waiting for the big move. Do we pick 15th? We got to put package 15. What's going on? And
well, in 3 days we'll find out, because the draft is this Friday, and the Canucks are picking, as of right now, the 15th overall.
Right now,
there's not a lot
that could change.
There's not a lot of rumors. There's not a lot of anything going on with the Canucks. Like, even the insiders are saying it seems relatively quiet.
That's usually when something happens. Something big.
Or
like years
past,
they do squat, and we sit here and go, ow. Okay, this was boring. We go all excited for what? And
it could go both ways. Like, honestly, we could be sitting here as we're talking, and I refresh Twitter, and there could be a trade that's been processed through.
Yes, we've done nothing
it before. As of yet. Nothing as of yet, but
shit happens.
Shit happens, and again, I still think, and I mentioned it before, that with Jonathan Lekkermäki sitting out most of the first round, or the first 3 games of the final round.
Yeah.
I still think there's something to that, as in asset protection.
Oh, you think so?
I think so. In a potential trade. So again, I wouldn't be surprised if anything happens this offseason. The rumors around the organization is that they are going to go all in.
Okay.
Because Quinn Hughes wants to play for a winning team, and he is entering the second last year of his contract, meaning this time next year we will be talking, does Quinn Hughes sign an extension on July 1st, or are we shopping Quinn Hughes on the market? It has to be talked about.
I refuse. I'm going to drink my water.
You refuse to talk about it, or you refuse to allow that reality permeate?
Both.
I think it's a silly thing to there's. Sorry.
This little gem here gets rid of negativity. So I'm just going to rub it. I'm just going to rub it in my hand. See, watch, I'm rubbing it in my hand. And voila, gets rid of negativity. It's a miracle. It works every time.
And just like that, I'm back. However, I do have some, I don't know, I wouldn't call it breaking news.
Breaking news. Ding, 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 ding.
This was just shared. Jay Onright, on Sports Center with Jay Onright. Farhan Lalji on the chance Patterson gets moved before his full new move clause kicks in. I'd be surprised if Patterson got traded before July 1st.
Oh, yeah, well, that's not news. Like, hello, come on.
Hey,
they're not going to trade a... Jesus Christ,
people. You say that, but yet you're also thinking that they're...
Trade the fans! Trade the coaches!
Look, all I'm saying is it's a realistic possibility that this ownership, this management team, not ownership, I mean, ownership's all in a whole nother category that we don't have time to spend on today. But this ownership group or management group wants to win now. And do they view Elias Pettersson as a win now type of player? Because based off of last season, he is not.
One bad season. Come on now. Don't be so negative. Jesus.
Well, in some positivity.
I got more. Get rid of your negativity here.
In some, quite a bit of positivity. The Hockey Hall of Fame has announced their newest class. I'm trying to find the list here. I had it. Now it's gone.
Alexander Mogilny.
Mogilny is on the list. It's long overdue, in my opinion.
Why do you think that took so long?
Politics.
You think so?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think I don't know what it is. If he's
a Canuck.
Well, but he's not just a Canuck. I was thinking that originally, but he played for the Buffalo Sabres just as long as he played for the Canucks.
But again, Buffalo. Like, who cares about Buffalo?
But then he went and played for the Devils, the Leafs, and then back to the Devils.
Yeah.
Like, he played for multiple teams.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad he's in. I agree with you. Long overdue.
1,032 points in 990 games.
Yeah, more than a point a game.
It's ridiculous.
Yes.
Joining Mr. Mogilny in the newest members, we have hated BC boy Duncan Keith heading into the Hall of Fame. Also hated Joe Thornton. And I think hated the most.
Don't say it.
Big Z, Zdeno Chara. Also heading in and not hated in any way. Well, I mean, unless you read Twitter when she's on the air, Jennifer Botterill is entering the Hockey Hall of Fame. Well deserved.
Okay.
And Brianna Decker as well. So those are the players that are going in, and then there's a handful of builders that are going in as well that I don't have the list right in front of me. But did want to talk on that just because, like, my earliest memories of playing video games, because that's like my earliest memories of the Canucks. Mogilny was he was the fastest player on the team.
Yes.
The funnest to play with. And I just never understood why he was not in the Hall of Fame. And there's no reason, like, going through things, there's no reason for it.
No, it's not like he did anything wrong.
It's not like Pavel Bure when he left Vancouver and there was all this animosity towards him, and then when he came back and patched things up, it was nice and cathartic. Alexander Mogilny retired, from my understanding, went into Netherland and probably living quite a happy life.
Maybe there was a story back east that we don't know about. I don't know.
Makes no sense to me, but. No. We also do need to talk about, we deleted it, but we did need to talk about it because...
What did we delete?
Off of the rundown. You deleted it. Because the last time we spoke, it was not official.
What?
The Florida Panthers are your 2025 Stanley Cup champions.
Really?
Really, really. The game was on.
The game was on.
The game was on.
When we went off the air, we were going to watch the third period.
Correct.
That's right. Holy, look at that. 15 minutes in, and we didn't even talk about them. Panthers.
Back-to-back champions, the Florida Panthers. There are a lot of opinions on social media about how they are acting.
Oh, whatever.
All the big names are giving their 2 cents. How do you feel about their celebration?
Celebrate. You just won the fucking hardest cup ever. And you not only did it once, you did it 2 times, back to back. You have the right to do whatever the F you want.
Yeah. People are, they're unclassy. Okay. If and when the Canucks win the Stanley Cup, we will be on here probably that night, shit-faced drunk, flipping all you motherfuckers off.
Oh, come on. They're upset because, and I hate the little rat. I hate Marchand. But I thought it was freaking hilarious that he's saying, thank you, Boston. Thank you, Boston. That was hilarious.
Did you see his Instagram story that got people all sorts of upset? He went through everyone on the team and for Tkachuk. Thanks, Calgary Flames, and added Calgary Flames, and went through everyone's history and was like, thanks to their teams for letting them go and letting them enjoy it,
awesome.
Letting them end up in Florida, however that happened, right? It's great.
The only people complaining about how they're acting are the losers. Nobody in Florida is complaining how they're acting.
Nope.
It's the losers. Grow up.
But the thing is, to me, the surprising... Okay, I get Edmonton. If you're complaining, I understand it. Toronto's complaining. I've seen people based out of Winnipeg complaining.
Disrespecting the cup. You haven't won a cup in 100 years. You don't know what disrespect means.
We may have lost the old man. He's kind of gotten robot on us, but I agree. Grow up. The stories of the cup where it's been lost in Bavaria and had goats drinking out of it, I believe is a story that Rod Peterson told on his show. It's absolutely ridiculous that people are upset and annoyed at the Florida Panthers for partying and chanting with the fans, having a good time, getting drunk. God forbid these hockey players who put 10 months into their season and now they're enjoying the fruits of their labor after winning what I have always said, the hardest championship to win, the hardest playoff tournament to win, back-to-back years. It's insane. It makes no sense to me why people are so upset about this. Absolutely drives me nuts that there's even a talk about this. Let them enjoy. Let them enjoy their win. And honestly, if you're a fan of any other team, you want them to enjoy this as much as possible and for as long as possible. Because then hopefully there will be a bit of a Stanley Cup hangover next year after winning it back-to-back years. And maybe they won't be as good. And I don't want to hear anything. I don't want to hear a goddamn thing about the Stanley Cup or the state tax advantage or anything like that. It's absolutely asinine to me. But it looks like we got the old man back.
I'm back. Our hardwired in, so let's see if that works. By the way, can I give booze to freaking tell us? Tell us. You suck. Okay, I'm better.
All right. Basically I was just going on a little bit of a mini rant there about how insane it is that people are upset they're celebrating after winning the hardest playoff championship to win back-to-back years.
Just stop. Just
because if it was your team, you would be loving it, and you'd be the people in the clubs chanting "F Boston" or F Florida or whatever the hell you want to say. It's ridiculous.
We have class. We wouldn't be like that.
No, you don't, Oilers fans. You guys complain more than anyone else I've ever seen. It drives me nuts.
Oh,
okay, but
now
unless you have something else to talk about in the world of hockey, because I think that puts a bow on actual hockey talk.
Congratulations to the class of the league. I mean, Florida has it together. They made the trades. They made the moves they had to make. And for 2 years in a row, they've proved that they're the best in the NHL, and good on them.
Yeah. because next week we will have some coverage of the draft, any trades that happen, blockbuster trades we'll talk about. But until now, September, I don't think we have much to talk about in the world of hockey.
Let's go football. Let's go football.
Well, it's been an interesting week, to say the least.
An interesting week, he says.
In the CFL. Because week 3 is in the books, but that's not what people are talking about. Social media is filled with this, and you specifically messaged me that you want to make sure we talked about this. Like somehow this missed my radar somehow, and you know the entire CFL internet hasn't been talking about it for the last 2 days. When did he post this?
I think 4 days ago now.
He posted on the 22nd. It's only been 2 days.
It feels like 4 days.
It's been ridiculous, but
hashtag CFL numpty.
What we are talking about is Luke Wilson's comments about the truth about the CFL, or what he claims to be the truth of the CFL. Basically shitting on a game and saying what I've been saying for the last 120 episodes, that this league does not care about attracting younger fans. And he's taking a different view on it, because I always claim more marketing sides of things. He's saying it's the type of football that's being played. And he's not taking a shot at the players. He's talking about the actual... He's very specific on that. He's not saying the players in any way, shape, or form. It's the overall structure of how the game is played that is boring.
Let's put up his tweet so people understand, and then I'm going to have a long chat about this.
Okay, so I have it here. Let me zoom in here. Probably have to zoom in more. Let's get that out of the way so we can see the old man's face. All right, so it's a long tweet, and I actually compliment him for putting it out as one tweet rather than 13 individual posts. But I'm gonna read it verbatim, just so that way everyone
and people
gets the full.
We have over 70 people watching. Listen to what he's saying. Don't interpret it. Don't listen to what you think he's saying. Actually, listen to what he's saying. Go ahead, Jake.
So he starts the tweet. I told you I'd be honest and tell the truth about the CFL. If the goal is to grow the game and attract a younger demographic on the field, the on-field product of the Sask-Toronto game is just not going to cut it. That game was hot garbage. Let me be clear in saying that I don't think it's a talent thing. This isn't a shot at the players, but that game was really bad. Let's start with the obvious. There were 29 penalties for 307 yards. It was absurd. Not a shot at the refs either. That in itself is enough to ruin any kind of football game. It was tough to watch. Next, let's go on to the end of the game. It's junk ball. Yes, I said it. Junk football. First off, Saskatchewan misses a chip shot 33-yard field goal, which would have basically sealed the win. Instead, they are awarded a point for missing it. Ball wasn't returnable / didn't land in field of play. Then they kick off and give up a 9-play touchdown drive where there's one penalty, one incompletion, and every other play is a tackle in bounds. No timeouts are used, and it took 1:39. There are no big plays either. It's mainly checkdowns. Nothing could be more gimmicky than that. You've basically eliminated any sort of 2-minute drive, 3 minutes in the CFL, because that's when our 3-minute warning or our warning is. There's not the slightest bit of urgency needed. Sorry, that was me adding in that bit there. The Argos kick off and don't even field a full team. Yes, that is correct. That's absurd to me.
Bizarre.
After tying the game with 23 seconds left, the Argos are a man short on the kickoff. There's a block in the back penalty that is missed, and the play should have been called back. For a 3-down throwing league, there were a total of 4 completions of a 20-plus throw. There were 12, I repeat, 12 QB sneaks. The Argos had 31 pass attempts, and per PFF gave up 25 pressures. Insane. I log on to socials after the game, and it's tweet after tweet about how amazing the CFL is because of the kick return ending. Even articles and podcasts declaring the CFL's greatness. It's a bold-faced lie. It's bold-faced lies. The league and the people who cover it are trying so hard to protect the game that their lack of honesty is ruining it. And why can't we call it like it is? A bad football game. Let me be very clear. If the goal is to grow the game for a younger demographic, this sort of stuff will not do it. You You'd have a better chance at pissing in hot sauce bottle than having any sort of substantial growth with games like that. I want to end by saying that there have been some great games already this season. I do believe the CFL has the players and talent to attract a ton of new fans in all demographics. But sometimes I wonder if the powers that be actually want that to occur. Disclaimer, please don't respond with there are bad games in the NFL. Yes, there most certainly are, but the NFL doesn't have the same issues the CFL does. One of which is that there are only 4 games a weekend, so each game is magnified to its audience.
That last part, I want to touch on that last part. Everybody I saw was NFL. He literally said it. He said, "Don't come at me with this whole edit. We're talking about the CFL." He's like, "It's now." Let's break it down. Let's break it down because I got into it on Twitter with a few people over this.
You get into arguments with people on social media?
It's so unbelievable. So. Nowhere in here is he suggesting rule changes.
The only thing I can really point to about rule changes is instead they were a point for missing. Ball wasn't returnable, so I shouldn't land in field play. Which to me, I honestly do not hate that logic for the rules.
It doesn't change that hot garbage game. And it was... The whole game was hot garbage. It was a terrible game.
It was fun to watch for the last 42 seconds.
It was a terrible game to watch. Penalty after penalty after penalty. Boring. He just said what it was. It was a boring game. Hot garbage. Boring.
A boring game that had an exciting finish.
Yes. So
you can put a bow on crap. It's still going to be crap.
You can put lipstick on a pig. It's still a pig. So, how do we fix this? What is he talking about? Let's break it down, right down. He's not saying the players aren't talented. He's not saying the refs suck. That's not what he's saying. But what he is saying, if you actually took the time to read other tweets that he has put out, if you actually looked into the comments, he is saying the biggest problem with the CFL right now isn't the rules on the field. It's the rules off the field. They have handcuffed every fucking team in the league and said, you're not allowed to have coaches. And somebody had the audacity to and when I put this on Twitter, somebody had the audacity, goes, well, that was to stop Winnipeg and Saskatchewan from being so good. What?
Yeah, that's really helped.
What? What kind of brain damage do you have? Did you play football without a helmet for too long? Are you licking the bus? Like, come on. I won't use the word because Jake says I'm not allowed to use the word, but it starts with an R, people. It starts with an R. What that has done is you can't develop the players the way the NFL does. Those NFL players aren't NFL players when they come out of college. They get individual coaching. They have 100 different coaches in the NFL. They have a coach in charge of fucking toilet paper. They have another one in charge of water bottles. We are so stupid. We are so stupid in the CFL that teams have to have a head coach and a GM. They have to be the same person because we can't afford to hire both.
So I pulled up a tweet here that I had already pre-prepared to bring up. A reply to CFL News, who is a fantastic news aggregator website, but just posted a funny meme, something that I think is hilarious.
That was funny.
And Luke Wilson replied, said, hey boss, I think sometimes you need to realize the small echo chamber you're in. I've received a crazy amount of thank you messages from just about everyone, front office, coaches, players, both past and present, and fans. Although they might not all agree with everything I said, the dialogue has opened. Everyone is afraid to say anything because of the CFL family wrath.
Yes.
I can say with certainty that there is a large number of CFL players who want this game to grow. They want more coaches. They want more resources. They want more allotted time as a team to study and prep for games. These guys are true pros. They want to perfect their craft. The on-field product can become so much better. I'm simply not in the camp of it's a marketing issue. If that makes me public enemy number one on Reddit, so be it. Just remember, there's a saying in football that will live on forever in all leagues: the film never lies.
God, I tried to message him and tried to get him on the show because I really want to have that conversation with him. Guys, this isn't some random dude they pulled off the street who's had 60 years of football.
This is you and me. This isn't you and me bringing this sort of shit up. This is a guy who's won Super Bowls.
He played numerous years in the CFL, in the NFL.
In the NFL.
He knows what it takes to be the best that you can be. How do you do that? You hire the best coaches. If I'm in sales, if you want to put together the best sales team, you hire the best manager that can coach your sales team. That's going to make your best sales team. You want the best product on the field? Hire fucking coaches. It's simple.
And it's wild. The best salespeople also are the people who get advice and go and get extra coaching and talk to people and say, hey, how did you do that? Hey, I like that technique. I'm gonna think about doing it. People who put time and energy in learning things, just like anything, whether it's sales, poker,
doesn't matter.
A fucking putting together a podcast.
Yes.
Or being a pro goddamn football player. If you want to be the best, you have to put in time, energy, and resources.
And the resources are not there. It's just not happening. It's something that if this commissioner is serious about growing the league, he has to look at that admin cap and say, this is the stupidest thing ever that was ever brought into the CFL. Yes, we can talk about player caps. We can talk about the CFL Canadian ratio. If I was king for a day, the two things I would do for the CFL is people are going to hate me for this. I would get rid of the Canadian ratio and I'd get rid of the frickin' admin cap. That would improve our game so drastically because I don't care who's on the field. I don't care if he's a Canadian, an American, an Australian, Yugoslavian. I can go on and on. If he puts this jersey on, that's all I care about. I want the best possible players to put this damn jersey on. This whole thing, you're going to kill the CFL if you take out the Canadian ratio. Is the NFL killed? Because they don't have a ratio.
Nope, not even.
Well, they have 100 million, right? And only 10 get to play. They got another 90 million people that want to play this game, and we could get them. Let the best play. And given the resources, I mean, Rod Peterson, very good friend of the show and a very dear friend of mine. He does a lot of coaching of players, sober coaching, as well as other mental health issues. And most teams don't even have a mental health coach for a professional team. That's it. That's sad. That's just sad. Why? Because they can't. They would have to get rid of one of the other coaches.
So just to break down like the numbers, and this is from 2023, so 2 years ago. So yes. Old data. 773 colleges and universities playing football at all levels, for a total of 81,000 plus college football players in NCAA and NAIA.
Yeah.
That's just in the States. In the NFL, there are 32 teams with a total of 2,016 players on the NFL roster. There are only 259 college football players that were drafted in 2023 and 672 college football players that were signed as undrafted free agents or received training camp invites. So that's 900, just call it
1,000.
Yeah, okay, let's overestimate and say 1,000 of the 81,000 players.
That's 80,000 players, folks. Just doing the math, just because I know you've been hit in the head, you've been playing football without a helmet.
And we limit how many play in the CFL because we want representation, which is good. I think there needs to be there. It's good to have some representation in certain aspects. However, if you want to be taken seriously as a league, do you think the NHL has representation levels? You're an American team. You need to have at least 50% Americans playing 50% of the time.
Let's take, you're a Canadian team. You need to have 50%. Come on, people. That's old school.
I think
you want to grow this game. That's going to grow this game. And Luke, frick, it's about time somebody with a microphone said it, because hot damn, I have heard so many people behind the scenes say it. I've heard people say it on air and get lambasted for it. So good on you, Luke. Keep it up. And hashtag CFL Numpty. Humpty. No, gosh dang
Numpty.
it. Numpty. CFL Numpty. Or is it Numpty CFL? It's
I don't know.
hashtag Numpty. All right, it's hashtag CFL Numpty. I love it. Anytime you see someone posting something that is dumb about the CFL, that you just think, oh my God, this guy's just reply. Don't reply anything else. Just reply. Hashtag CFL Numpty. I'm sure that's what it is. Are you checking that, Jake?
No.
Why not?
I am calling out a CFL numpty right now on Twitter.
Oh. Did somebody get your ire up?
Oh, it's someone mixing politics with football, and this guy's already a fucking idiot.
It's not MB, is it?
Oh, it is MB.
Oh my God. Okay, did he comment on the show, or
no.
was it? Oh, okay.
No, just something else random.
Okay, don't say it. We don't want to give that guy any publicity whatsoever.
Well, I did, because I retweeted it and just hashtag CFL Numpty did. So, it's surprising that a guy who's had a
I almost started that out my nose.
It's just wild to me that a guy who has a media career, has 9 more episodes of a show than we do, only has like double our audience size. It's mind blowing to me. Absolutely fucking mind.
It shouldn't be. He's an idiot.
Like if
There's
I was
a reason he's not the voice anymore.
If I was to live in the shadow of,
don't say it, greatness
of
a legend,
I guess I would be bitter too. That's all.
Okay, can we move on now? You made my night.
Yeah, we can definitely move on, because despite the chaos of the last 2 days, the CFL actually had a fantastic week this week, in my opinion.
It was just one bad game.
There were two games that I thought were entertaining but bad football. There were 2 games that 2 teams looked fantastic and 2 teams looked terrible. And let's jump into it.
Let's jump into it.
Because the first game of the week on Thursday night was the Montreal Alouettes taking on the Edmonton Elks in Edmonton, and the Owls win by a score of 38-28. And as I put in the bottom here, the Elks looked out of sorts. Or is Montreal just that good this year again?
Montreal is that good, and the Elks looked out of sorts. Something
I
noticed about, just before I forget, the Elks.
Yep.
Did you notice everything is branded the Eskimos? They got the old fire engine back. It's really funny. And it actually says Eskimos on the fire engine. Anyway, I said this was going to be a blowout, and it really was, even though it's only 10 points. I think Edmonton scored like 7 or 10 points in the fourth, something like that.
22 in the fourth.
Oh yeah. When the game was out of hand and they let them.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it was a rout, which we knew it was going to be. Yes, Montreal is that good. This Alexander is just an amazing football player.
Yeah.
And they got it all the way around. They got it in special teams. They got it in offense. Their offensive line is probably the biggest I've seen. It's just good football, period.
Yeah. I was going to say, they've got the receiver spread. Like, it's not just 1 or 2 it's not just Tyson Philpott and Rambo. You also have Sneed and Mac and Stevie Scott and Jacob Mason. Like, all these guys are getting targets.
Yes.
Which is what you need in a throwing league. But the fact that Davis Alexander, 254 yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions, and only 4 incompletes.
Yeah.
On 24 attempts. Like,
just insane.
Compared to 27 for 36 for Trey Ford, 308 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception.
Yeah.
It's that turnover that's going to really be the big difference.
Oh, yeah. Big time.
Always is in the CFL.
Can't turn the ball over more than 3 times. It's the rule. It's the Hughes Sports Podcast rule. You turn the ball over 3 times in any game, you're going to lose.
To be fair, it's the Hughes rule. We've been talking about that rule for years before the show came around.
I know, but we are now calling it the Hughes Sports Podcast rule.
All right.
There you go.
And then Friday night, the game that started all sorts of controversy, I guess, or at least started all sorts of conversations. We had the rough...
Remember, Luke is a sideline reporter. That's what's so funny about this.
Yeah.
He's not on the panel. He's not paid to give an opinion.
Yeah, he is. He's treated very differently, like, because they have tried to change the presentation of Friday Night Football to make it feel different than Thursday or the weekend games.
I wonder if the TSN said, hey, Luke, you go for it, buddy. Just saying.
But the Rough Riders were in Toronto, and the Riders win by a score of 39-32. And as we discussed already, fantastic ending to the game.
Just craziness.
But until that last drive, I literally was laying sideways on the couch watching the game, scrolling my phone.
It was
because of the show, I kept it on. But if it wasn't, and I can say this honestly, if it wasn't for the show, I would have been like, D, let's watch one of our shows or watch a movie. Let's do something.
I was flying home from the island while watching this. I was watching on my phone and I was listening on the Riders app. And oh my gosh, even the announcers, you could tell, and I'm listening to the radio, and even the announcers were like, they were talking about anything corn growing and dogs running away, and you can see them because that's what they do on the prairies, is they talk about dogs running away for 3 days. They were talking about anything but the football game until the last 3 minutes of the game.
Yeah.
Luke was there. Luke was a sideline reporter for this game. He got to see it firsthand. It was brutal. The Luke Wilson game. I just noticed that.
Look, I knew we were going to start by talking about the Luke Wilson comments and how everything led up to it. And I know in the tweet, he literally comments on how the game was boring until the last 2.5 minutes.
Yep.
So I could just throw that in there.
I mean, and he's not wrong. I mean, Legio, kicker for Riders.
Legio.
Lowther missed a chip shot. It should have been just a chip shot, and he kicked it wide. And I was like, they're going to throw horse manure on his lawn. Paul McCallum reference. It was one of those games where you just go, yeah. And you know what? If Luke hadn't said what he said and started the controversy that he did, we'd probably just go, you know what? It was an exciting game to watch at the end.
Yeah, dude, right? Completely, honestly.
Because he's not wrong. We as reporters, we as the media, lots of times gloss over the horrible parts of a game because we're CFL fans and we want to be a fan. Well, you can be a fan and still be a critic.
So the thing is we've talked about it before. We are also big in the wrestling community. We are huge wrestling fans. Huge wrestling fans. Yes, okay. I know, shocking. Wrestling fans
stopped watching wrestling when they found girls. Jake and I didn't. We found girls and still kept watching wrestling.
It's
a Rod reference.
Wrestling media and wrestling fans constantly criticize wrestling. Oh, why are they doing that? Why wouldn't they do this? Well, this person should be champion. No, this person should be champion.
Back for a title match? Are they stupid?
They're going to Saudi Arabia, even though Iran is bombing places. Their crew's stuck because they can't fly anywhere, but we're still going to put the show on because billions of dollars are billions of dollars. Let's hope we don't have any more mechanical failures trying to leave again. But that industry is booming. It's a huge boom period.
Mm-hmm.
And there's lots of criticism. Why is it so, like, the NHL, you criticize the NHL. It's like, oh, I wouldn't do that if I were you. Why?
You say a team's going to be sold. Apparently they don't like that.
I still stand by my reporting. I mean, the reporting that was done by whoever mentioned those
whoever that was.
Teams.
We don't know who that was.
Whoever that was. About whichever team that was being potentially sold.
We don't know what they're talking about.
No.
Anyways,
no.
It was.
I think
it was a typical CFL 3-minute game.
But I think it's better for there to be criticism of things that don't work.
Yeah,
and you shouldn't be labeled the boogeyman for saying, "Hey, look, I love the CFL and I want it to be better. This is how I would make it better."
I mean, did he come across a little crass? Of course he did. He did it on purpose, you morons.
You know what everyone in the world of football has been talking about for the last 2 days?
Luke Wilson.
The world of CFL hasn't been any of the games. Has been talking Luke Wilson. You know what everyone's going to want to do on Friday night?
Tune in and see what Luke Wilson has to say. I bet you the ratings are going to go through the roof. Speaking of that,
Alouettes taking on the Tiger Cats.
Speaking of that,
we
have over 100 viewers. Thank you, Luke Wilson.
But talking about another bad football game, we move on to the early game on Saturday where the Red Blacks take on the Stamps at home in Calgary for a 20-12 victory for the Red Blacks. And I call this the slop bowl because this game, the fact that it went on, astounding to me, but it's football and we don't stop for anything because
unless it's lightning.
Unless it's lightning, and that's only for player safety because we're apparently wearing a metal helmet and standing next to big giant metal conductors, not a good idea. But I get emails for Cavalry FC, which is the Calgary-based footy club, the soccer club. They, an hour before the game, send out emails saying, hey, the game's delayed. As soon as we know when kickoff will be, we'll let you know. It's due to safety concerns and weather. 45 minutes later, the game has been postponed, and we will let you know when it's going to be rescheduled. You know what happened 15 minutes after I got that email? The CFL started. And this game was just sad.
And folks, like, you don't understand how hard it was raining.
2 days of nonstop rain. Oh, we lost the old man again. 2 days of nonstop. He's back.
Backing up again.
The old man's back. He doesn't know he's back, but he's back. And he's gone again. Let's just put him in the green. There we go. 2 days of what I like to call Vancouver rain, where it was pouring for 2 days. And like across my street, it looked like it was going to start to like flood up onto the lawns. Not get anyone's houses or anything, but our soil isn't prepared for that type of rain. And it was brutal. As soon as the game started, you knew it was going to be a run-based game. A game where there's going to be lots of issues. There were, I think, the first 2 plays in the game, people went down awkwardly just because of the rain. They lost footing and fell. And it's not good football to watch, but it's fun at least. Like you see things you don't normally see because people are slipping and sliding. It took both teams almost a half to be able to get any passing game going. The old man's the one with all the stats, so I'm hoping he's able to rejoin us here soon. But yeah, Dustin Crum only had 9 completions on 22 attempts for 111 yards and 1 touchdown, where Vernon Adams Jr. had 17 for 32 with 218 yards, no touchdowns, and an interception. There wasn't a touchdown scored until the late in the fourth quarter, late in the third quarter. When did the touchdown get scored? I don't remember. But it wasn't until later in the game that the first touchdown was scored in a CFL game. That's unheard of. Usually it's every few drives there's a touchdown. That's why we have these really high scoring games. But if you aren't aware, I am ragging the puck here for the old man, hoping he's able to figure out whatever internet issues he is having, and we'll be able to rejoin us here to wrap up the show, because we have coming up after we talk about the slot bowl, we have the Lions game to talk about, and then we also have everyone's favorite segment, the old man predicts. So I'm just gonna keep ragging the puck here, and hopefully he will message me with something that's going on or rejoin us here. But in my opinion, the Red Black Stamps game was as good as it possibly could be with what was at hand for both teams. Honestly, I feel like I'm saying honestly a lot, but it's a game that's dictated by the weather, and that's going to happen sometimes when you're playing in June, July. Then as you get into the winter months, I mean, we've seen games being played at 40 below where they've had to come out during commercial breaks and scrape the snow off so you can at least see the numbers and the hard lines. But look, it's something that's going to have to, all teams are going to have to deal with those types of games. Luckily, as a BC Lions fan, we have the dome and everything is insulated and safe from that, just because there are so many games that would be rained out in BC, but not here in Calgary. Again, I'm just ragging the puck, hoping the old man's gonna be able to rejoin us, whether he figures it out from his phone or what's going on. He is trying to log back in. But if you're in the chat right now, tell us, what game did you think was the best game from the week? Let me see what's going on here, because he's saying he's not able to join. So you're seeing some troubleshooting. Trying some troubleshooting here on the fly. I apologize that we are having technical issues, but it does happen. We are a small independent podcast. We thank everyone who does tune in. We can't say more great things about you beautiful people who tune in every single week to talk CFL, Canucks, NHL, Calder Cup. It means the world to us. The old man's going to be slightly delayed a little bit longer, but so let's jump into the last game of the week, which was the Bombers, the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, taking on the BC Lions at home with two different quarterbacks than when they played mere 8 days prior. The Bombers win by a score of 27-14, and like we talked about last week, Mazzoli, he's a backup quarterback. I don't really know if he's going to be the guy to back up this team. I didn't see a lot there for him in this game, but it does look like he is going to be the quarterback. I did see reports today that Rourke was in pads practicing today, but the worst game was the Lions game. That is the chat is telling me the worst game was the Lions game. Some struggles with the Lions, definitely some struggles with the Lions, and we talked about it a lot last year. And something we really honed in on this year was that the O-line needed to be able to give Rourke or whoever the quarterback is the protection needed to be able to give us the information, or to give us the time to be able to protect the quarterback and for them to be able to see the play and make the play. especially with implementing a new system with a newer quarterback or a different quarterback than last year. But yeah, it's a problem for this team. It does look like the old man is not going to be able to rejoin us. So he says, thank you so much for tuning in, everyone. I'm going to finish up the Bombers Lions recap, and then we will let you guys go. But yeah, I think, and I really want to see, because we've only been able to see the Bombers play against the Lions, and it could just be that's a very bad matchup for the Lions and a great matchup for the Bombers. But this week, the Bombers are taking on the Elks. They are playing the Thursday game, so they get the short end of the stick this week. They get the short week, playing the Saturday night game and then the early Thursday game. But they are taking on the Elks, so I do expect that to be another win for them. It was very interesting start to the game. Both teams walked down, was able to score, and then the Bombers just kind of took over from there. There's not I don't think there's a specific play that I remember seeing that was like, oh, that's where the Lions really messed up or anything like that. I think it literally came down to just the Bombers had a better game plan. Were more smash mouth in the O-line. The defense, I think, played okay enough to win. But 100% in the chat, there was no protection. You can't win a game when you have less than 2 seconds to throw the ball. And then what happens is Mazzoli, who doesn't have a lot of starting experience, that happens, he panics and throws interceptions, which then gives the Bombers better field position. Honestly, it's a cycle, and the Lions are playing the Rough Riders on Saturday at 5 p.m. So it'll be very interesting to see what happens this week. But I'm expecting some sort of changes to happen with the Lions. I don't know what sort of changes you can make when it comes to your line at this point in the season, but it was rough. Honestly, it was rough. But it's still early in the season. The Lions are now 1-2. They what are the standings looking like? I haven't even looked. So the only team below them in the West are the Elks. Technically right now they would be crossing over. I know it's super early. They would be crossing over and playing in the East final, which I don't think is any easier for the Lions, taking on the Owls. But I think there's a lot of moving pieces with the Lions. If Rourke does play next week, which I think there's more of a chance than not after Mazzoli's performance. I even thought, because Rourke was dressed, that maybe at halftime, if they were able to freeze whatever part of his body was kind of hurting him, that he maybe be able to get in and get some throws, but not the case. And yeah, the Bombers are off to another hot start. Let's take a look at the standings. So in the East, we have the Owls, who are a perfect 3-0. The Red Blacks, who are the only other East team with a win, at 1-2. And then you have the Tiger Cats at 0-2 and the Argonauts 0-3. Then in the West, you have the Rough Riders, who are undefeated at 3-0. The Bombers, who are undefeated at 2-0. The Stamps at 2-1. The Lions at 1-2. And then the lowly Elks, the only team in the West without a win, at 0-2. The games this week, normally we go through this when the old man predicts, but we'll see if we can record something or post out his predictions out onto Facebook and Twitter. But next week, or this upcoming week, we have the Elks and the Blue Bombers playing Thursday in Winnipeg. And then we have the Alouettes taking on the Hamilton Tiger Cats in Hamilton, the Friday game. Then we have a very rare 4 nights and 4 games. So we have the BC Lions take on the Riders at 4 p.m. Pacific in Saskatchewan on Saturday, the only game on Saturday. Then we have the Sunday night game, the Argonauts taking on the Red Blacks at 4 p.m. Pacific time. Interesting. I guess because it's the long weekend, because the holiday is the first for Canada. That would make sense. So I don't know when we will be able to go live next week. Keep a close eye on our social medias to be able to do that. But I am your host, Jake Hughes. Thank you so much for tuning into the Hughes Sports Podcast. We made it to episode 121. We're going to keep going. The old man sends his regards. We love you all. Mwah. Goodbye.